Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with the March Clique Kit called Wonderful You, and this is my first layout with the kit. So if you watched my unboxing video, you know that I said that I wanted to use this paper here that looks like a comic book strip and cut photos to put right in the comic book strip so that they're the wonky squares. And so that's what I'm doing. That's going to be my first layout. So what I did is I used Photoshop and I created the shape. I recreated the shape in Photoshop and then put my photo into that shape, and it's called a clipping mask. And then I went ahead and printed my photos. I do print my photos at home, so that does make it a little bit easier. And I'm an okay Photoshop user, not a great, but an okay. And then I cut it with a white border and I didn't like it, so I went ahead, and what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting off that white border, but maintaining that shape. And there we go. So my idea is that I'm going to put my title then in that empty spot. So I'm loving the way this actually turned out. So I love it when I have a vision and it actually works out onto the page. And so I was super happy that I was able to create that in Photoshop. So now here's my idea. I was thinking I don't really want the whole page. And that's me crossing my fingers because I'm going to rip it. Yikes. And when you don't have more than one paper of it makes it so like you're really scared to mess it up. So but I end up liking it, and then I kind of auditioned a few different pieces of background paper, and I was trying to decide um, just what went well with the polka dots, the color, the papers, all of that. So um, I'm just gonna go through and I end up settling on another paper from the same collection, and it's like a burst paper. You'll see it here in a second. So these photos were taken one night right before bed. She has unicorn pajamas on, and she had gotten out her briefcase and some silly glasses. Well, they're not silly, they're actually reading glasses, but she looks silly in them. And so she looked like a super businesswoman, kind of like she kind of had that whole Superman look, only she's wearing a unicorn uh, hoodie. So that is part of her um, pajamas. So I asked her what the title should be because I was having a hard time. Like I was like super unigirl, super girl, superwoman, all that kind of stuff. And so she decided that the title of this page should be Super Unicorn Girl. And so I just went with that. So I'm using those came in the kit, those thickers, and they're kind of iridescent, which I love because it's kind of superhero-y, right? And then I'm using these are Pretty Little Studio. I can't remember if they came in a kit or if they're just something that I ordered from the shop. And then I knew I had these flair buttons from a Flair for Buttons, and I hadn't used them. And I love them, but I just hadn't had the right layout. I'm not usually a super themey scrapbooker, right? So I don't usually go with a theme like Superman or Supergirl or superheroes or whatever. And so sometimes I have a hard time using up this flair that I love or papers that I love or whatever because it's a little themey, but I love it. So I just kind of went all out on this one since I was going to be like a comic book look. There was no getting around that, and this worked perfectly with it. It's still an everyday moment, but it's definitely a superhero themey page, and so I thought it would be perfect to use those pieces of flair on my page, so that I went ahead and did that. I just love this confetti. I probably can't get enough of this confetti because it's not sequins exactly. It's bigger, and it is more like confetti, and I just love it. So I'm kind of trying to figure out if I want to use these clips or not. And I take them away and put them back on. I take them away and put them back on. And you'll see how they end up looking in the end. I found this. I had forgotten that on the stamp set there were little stars, and so I thought the stars kind of went with the whole idea of superhero. And so first I took out just the regular star thinking I would fussy cut it, and then I realized there was a circle star. So I'm using some of the ink that comes in um, the Traveler's Notebook kit, I think. And I'm going ahead and stamping just on some white cardstock, and then I'm using my half-inch punch, which fit perfectly, to punch them out, and I'm adding that to the confetti. This is the first I have used this Catherine Pooler Designs ink, and I am loving it. I can see why Heather raves about it. It is so juicy. I just love it. I love it. Great color, everything. So I put like 5 or 6 of those on, and then mixed it kind of in with my confetti, and then um, see, taking those off. And then I decided it needed something else, but I really wasn't sure what to do, if I wanted to go sticker route or these tags. I've had these tags out several times and never found something that I liked. So I decided that I would have them go off the bottom of the page. And I like that pop of color down there. And then I'm going to kind of mimic that up in the upper left corner with those clips. And I'm not going to clip the clips, I'm just going to use them like they're tags coming out from behind. So I'm going to use them more like an embellishment, an epoxy embellishment that you might find that has self-stick on it or something like that. So I like my design at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing everything down. I do grab some, let's see, I think I grab some different kinds of, I'm trying to remember what color of thread I grab, but I think I grabbed some yellow thread, and I might add some blue too, I'm not sure. Can't remember. I actually am doing this voiceover several days after after I made the layout, so I kind of forget I've made a couple layouts in between. So um anyway, so I put a little bit of yellow behind super, and it doesn't glue down, and I end up having to re-glue it because I didn't add enough glue to the back, but that's okay. Um, and I like the way that looks. It just adds a little pop of yellow, which is why I like to use the thread. It adds a little bit of texture, but it also adds a pop of color. And that area just, it had the red and the blue, but it didn't have any of the yellow, so I went ahead and added the yellow there. And then I decided to go ahead and glue down my sequins. Well, it's not sequins, it's more like confetti. And I decided that I would pop up some of the pieces with using pop dots. Well, they're actually pop squares. And I didn't pop up the red or the yellow because the red and the yellow are a little bit more translucent. And so you can see through them enough that you would see the pop dot. But the silver and then the ones that I created are obviously opaque, so I used the pop dots on those, and that looked good. I didn't want to pop them all up anyway, so I just kind of popped up the ones that worked. Then I'm going to add a little bit of tangled thread behind my pieces of flair from a Flair for Buttons. And I'm adding two, I remember now, I think I used 2 different colors of blue here. You can see neither of the blues were correct. And so when I put them together, it does, it sounds weird. It's not like blending ink or anything, but when you put them together, it does look a little bit different, and it's much closer to the color that I was going for. And so it worked. It worked out. And I do have more than one color of blue on the page, so it actually kind of mimicked that idea too, because I have kind of a navy, and I have uh, the kind of aqua blue. So I'm trying out some different tag things to put in my tag, some different kind of string here. There is string that comes in the kit, some twine, and I don't end up using that. I started thinking I was going to use that, but I don't use it because it's a little thicker. And with these little smaller tags, it looked a little bulky. So now I wanted to add a little bit more black and white since I am adding some black string to those tags. And there's some black on the pieces of flair and on the little epoxy tag things that I put up in the left corner. There's navy and black and gray. And so I just decided I should add a little bit more black to the page. So I used those great see-through stickers that I used all the ones that look like clouds, kind of, that look like pow, those kinds of things, but they don't have words except, I think I used two words. One says yes and one says love. So then I decided to add, once I add my tags here, I'm going to add some words, or maybe I already did add the words. There's word stickers that come, and I can't remember if I ordered those on my own, but they're from Pretty Little Studio. I can't remember if I ordered them from the shop on my own or if they came in a kit. Sorry. Sometimes when I get my kits, I get all the stuff that I've also ordered from the store, and so I don't remember if they came in the kit or if they came just from the store. So I add three words. One says unique, one says love, and one says dreamer, all of which fit the idea of this layout. And then I am pretty much finished, I think. Yeah, so here come the close-ups. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I will show you close-ups of various parts of this layout, including all of the flair that I use from my flair buttons. Thanks a lot, and I will see you in my next video.